I'm going to show you step by step how to swaddle a baby the right way. So they're happy and comfortable, and most importantly, everyone can get that sweet, sweet sleep that we're all looking for. Oh, how I missed you, pillow. And we all know that sleep is a good thing. Studies show that 10 out of 10 times sleep helps zombie brain. And specifically, I'm going to show you one of the big issues that I see out there on the YouTubes and how to avoid it. Also, how to do it with almost anything on hand. In a pinch and don't have a blanket? Got you covered, baby. I think I hear a video montage. Later on, I'm also going to cover a few extra topics. Is swaddling good for babies? What is actually the point of swaddling babies? I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of swaddling. And lastly, how long should babies actually be swaddled for? Stick around. Swaddling or baby wrapping not that type of baby wrapping. So how do you swaddle? Here are the steps. Step 1. To make the folding of the swaddling easier, place your baby in a secure location. In this case, in the middle of the bed. A favorite toy can help keep the screaming down for both the baby and the parent. Step 2. Place a blanket flat on the surface you're going to be swaddling on. Congrats! You're doing great. Next, fold the corner of the blanket down to make one section of the blanket nice and narrow. In this case, the right side of the blanket. This part is important as it's just wide enough to cover the baby's chest and not their legs. Step 3. Place your baby in the middle of the folded section, just far enough over so the right side of the blanket can wrap around their body and underneath their back. Your baby's shoulders should be just below the top of the blanket. We like to place their arms to the side and wrap the blanket around, tucking the extra bit of blanket under their back. Your baby's arm is now snug and their legs are not restricted at all from moving around. Next, keep the other arm to the side of their body, wrap the remaining blanket over their shoulder and underneath their body so their body weight keeps the blanket in place. You can now smile and get ready for some rest. With this technique, your baby's legs are totally free to move around, but are still covered by the top side of the blanket for a nice warm and cozy sleep. You can do the same process with a towel. Fold a corner of the towel down, place your baby in the middle of the folded section, place their arms to the side, and wrap the towel around, tucking the extra bit of towel under their back. Keeping the other arm to the side of their body, wrap the remaining towel over their shoulder and underneath their body. You should be able to fit at least a couple of fingers between the body and the swaddle. If not, your swaddle is too tight. You can even do the same thing with a sweater, if you have absolutely nothing else on hand and are needing some immediate swaddling. All you have to do is follow the exact same steps that we talked about, with a little modification. Our little one wasn't really up for a sweatshirt wrap and wanted to be free to explore. Guess that happens. So first of all, is swaddling actually good for babies? Overall, it seems like yes. From our practice of having 2 children, we've swaddled them every time when times are really tough and they just cannot get to sleep, and they do sleep longer. Swaddling the baby ultimately helps with the startle reflex, academically known as the moral reflex. When babies are sleeping, they're lying there, all of a sudden, their arms break up and they wake themselves up. Freaks them out. Freaked me out too. And ultimately, that feeling of being swaddled will avoid that jerking movement and help them sleep through. So there are 2 sides to the swaddling debate. To swaddle or not to swaddle? That is the question. From reading up on things, there seems to be a lot more pros than there are cons. So first up are the good things. Swaddled babies tend to sleep longer and sounder. Swaddling also helps stop putting comfort items and extra things around inside the crib to keep the baby occupied. They're nice and snug, they don't need anything else. Having their arms away from their face also helps them stop scratching themselves. Everyone needs those cute baby photos. Swaddling also mimics comfort and touch so that they are ultimately comforted that much longer. And most importantly, swaddling helps parents as well. If they sleep longer, you can sleep longer. And I think that's what everyone wants. All right, now let's talk about the dangers of swaddling. Swaddling infants are at a higher risk of something called hip dysplasia. A lot of the other videos will show wrapping up the legs too. I just try and avoid that step entirely. The biggest thing is to stop them from startling themselves with their arms, and you're good to go once you have that. Wrapping the baby too tightly can also maybe make them overheat. So it's something we need to be aware of in the hotter months, and also how many blankets you ultimately have on them. Once you actually realize that the swaddling technique works, people tend to overuse it. They swaddle too much. Babies need to be able to have the flexibility to move their arms and learn and touch different things. So you want to be careful with that as well. My personal takeaway is moderation is always the key. Too much of anything is almost always a bad thing. Other than family toast videos. So when do you actually stop swaddling? It seems like for the most part between 4 to 6 months. There is no set time. The startle reflex doesn't really get outgrown until the 4 to 6 month zone, but about 4 months is the average. If your baby starts taking their arms out from the swaddle, it's probably time to start to transition. You also want to stop swaddling when the baby starts to intentionally roll. You don't want them to roll over and not be able to correct themselves, obviously. I'm also going to have a link down in the description, all the different resources that I put together in order to make this video. So feel free to read those up and learn about this thing yourself. And tell me, what do you think of this wrapping technique? Do you like it? What do you think of swaddling? Do you hate it? Let me know down in the comments and let's have a discussion. Ultimately, if you want to get more of these types of videos, then click on any one of these things over here. And hey, by the way, please subscribe. Click on this button right here. It's simple to do. But most importantly, thanks very much for watching. Have a great day.